Imagine England. You probably picture, rolling green hills, maybe some quaint villages, a sort of perfect countryside scene.
Yeah, that classic image.
Right. Now, hold that picture and then immediately swap it for this. A battered old car, smells like stale tobacco, described as a mafia machine, and the driver threatening to take your passport if you don't work.
It's jarring, isn't it? A brutal contrast.
Absolutely. And welcome to the deep dive. We're here to go beyond the surface, really unpack complex stuff.
And today, yeah, we're diving into a story that's, well, it's surprising, often pretty harsh, but also full of these unexpected moments of human connection.
It really shines a light on the realities for migrant workers, doesn't it, in this whole globalized labor market?
Exactly. We're drawing from this really rich, detailed account focusing on Ukrainian strawberry pickers, their journey into England's seasonal work, the underbelly of it.
And it's more than just a story, right? It's like a window. You see how personal dreams just slam into harsh realities?
You do. And how people adapt, how they change, what it really means to look for belonging somewhere new.
So our mission today, for you listening, is to pull out those key insights. We'll explore exploitation, yeah, but also resilience, identity.
And the surprising ways people connect, even under immense pressure.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning. Irina's arrival. It kind of sets the tone for everything.
It really does. She comes with this almost storybook vision of England.
Like Mr. Brown from the Let's Talk English textbooks, polite and proper.
Exactly that. And what she gets immediately is, well, it's the opposite.
Who does she meet first?
It's Mr. Volk, driving that mafia machine car.
The one that stank of tobacco.
Yeah. And his first interaction, a leery wink.
Yeah.
Crude gestures about his ponytail, saying it reminded her of men's oggen, a really vulgar term.
Grim. And the threat started right away.
Instantly. You know Verk, you know passport. And then that chilling line about visiting her mother in Kiev if she doesn't work well, making big problems for her.
Wow. Just pure control tactics from the get-go.
And then the farmer adds his own violation, giving her behind a good feel with his hand. Totally unnecessary, as she says.
It's just this rapid-fire sequence of power plays and boundary violations.
Yeah, real shock. And from there, she's thrown into the living situation. The Caravans?
Not exactly holiday parks, I'm guessing.
Not at all. The men's is described as a battered old fiberglass box. The women's is called cozy, but...
But how cozy was it really?
Well, cozy is doing a lot of work there. Almost no basic amenities. No working shower.
Seriously. No shower.
Nope. And the toilet. Locked at night. Which just seems bizarrely petty, right? Like, Irina wonders, what does he think they'll do? Unroll the toilet paper.
So where did
He ended up using a handy gap in the hedge as an outdoor toilet.
Oh my God.
And added to the humiliation, she notes there always seemed to be faces grinning from the men's caravan window whenever the women went behind the hedge.
That's awful. A complete lack of privacy, of basic dignity.
Right from the start. It sets the scene for life on the margins.
And it's in these conditions we first meet the other key people. How does Irina initially see Andriy, for instance?
Well, her first impression isn't great. She sees him as a rather primitive miner from Donetsk.
A bit snobbish.
Yeah, she admits her mother had this annoying habit of putting her down based on level of culture, so that probably influenced her view. There's an immediate class or cultural distinction she's drawing.
And Andriy, what were his initial thoughts or fantasies?
He had his own ideas. He was dreaming of an Angliska rosa, an English rose, blonde, skin like smetana, like cream, maybe a rich dad.
So typical fantasy, maybe.
Sort of, but he was also grappling with his own stuff. His father was a miner who died, and he carried this weight, this expectation to be a man.
So their first meeting wasn't exactly love at first sight.
Definitely not. More like a clash of preconceived notions and personal baggage.
Okay, so they're stuck in this grim routine. Then comes the actual work, strawberry picking. How did that reality hit Irina?
Hard. She works a full day and earns just 14 pounds.
14 pounds for a whole day.
Yeah. She says it was barely enough to cover my expenses. It immediately shows you the economics of it.
Just pure exploitation.
Absolutely. And it contrasts sharply with the experienced pickers like Yola or the Chinese girls who could fill 25 trays each. The pressure was immense.
And Yola even gives her advice on technique.
She does, a rather colorful piece of advice, comparing handling strawberries to, well, a man's testicles.
Seriously.
Don't squeeze them, Irina. It's crude, but it speaks volumes about the physical demands and maybe the rough and tumble nature of the environment. Intimate work, but also dehumanizing.
This kind of desperate situation, it must attract opportunists, too.
Oh, definitely. And that brings us to Vitali.
The recruitment consultant.
Right. He reinvents himself. Suddenly has this breathtaking fluency in English, talking about dynamic employment solutions and cutting-edge organizational answers.
Sounds like buzzwords covering something darker.
Exactly. His background is in Andriy, Moldova, shaped by gangster violence. His philosophy, work was for losers. He believed the way to get ahead, to join the elite, was to tap into other people's labor and let them make you rich. Basically harvest the efforts of the losers.
He's like a predator in that system.
Perfect example of how some people ruthlessly profit from the vulnerability created by these global labor flows. It's brutal.
And the grim realities weren't limited to strawberries. Tomasz and Marta ended up somewhere even worse, didn't they? The chicken factory.
Yeah, that section it's really tough to read. The descriptions are just horrific.
What did they find there?
Chickens, too fat to walk, staggering under their own weight, their monstrous breast, living in this reeking wasteland of sawdust, urine, and feces.
Just awful.
Tomasz accidentally breaks a bird's leg and feels immediate remorse, whispering, "I'm sorry, little chicken."
Yeah.
It's a small moment of humanity in this nightmare.
But the processing line?
That was the worst. Seeing half-alive birds coming through, and that graphic incident where a Chinese slaughterman's thumb gets cut off.
Yeah. It's visceral.
It really is.
It makes you stop and think, doesn't it? About the real cost. What does this level of suffering for the animals, the risk for the workers, tell us about, the cheap food we often take for granted?
It forces you to confront it. The story makes it painfully clear that cheap chicken, cheap labor, it comes at a tremendous hidden cost. Animal cruelty, worker exploitation, even physical danger. It's the unseen price tag.
But even in these really dark, brutal conditions, something else starts to happen, right? Connections form.
Yes, absolutely. Bonds start forming in that shared adversity. Marta plays a key role here, preparing meals.
Like the rabbit and sausage stew.
Exactly. These improvised suppers, they become more than just food. They're acts of care, creating this tiny bubble of community.
A bit of normalcy.
Yeah. There's this really touching moment during a storm. They're all huddled in the caravan, sharing bread and jam. And there's this recognition, friendship like this is a gift from God.
It shows how hardship doesn't always break people. Sometimes it forces intimacy.
It really does. It builds this incredible resilience, this deep connection that sustains them.
And then there's Emmanuel. He seems like a really unique character with this spiritual side.
He is. He's always asking about canal knowledge, which sounds like this deep, almost mystical wisdom he's searching for.
And he finds peace in unlikely places.
Yeah, like at Canterbury Cathedral, he describes being filled up with mysterious peace there. It's a stark contrast to his daily life.
His past also reveals something about him, right? The incident in Zomba.
That's right. He did a good deed, taking the fall for someone else, Toby Mackenzie, over some Malawi gold cannabis. He endured grievous blows for it. Shows a real selflessness.
Which makes the next scene even more surprising. The condom demonstration.
Oh, that scene. It's Andriy and Toby trying to teach Emmanuel about condoms using a banana.
Given his religious beliefs about abomination, that must have been awkward.
Probably. But it's presented as this act of, practical care. They want to give him choice, protect his health, even if it clashes with his faith.
It shows a different kind of solidarity, doesn't it? Very pragmatic.
Exactly. And it's through moments like these shared experiences, that perceptions really start to shift. Like how Irina sees Andriy.
Right. She moves past seeing him as just a primitive miner.
Yeah, slowly she starts to see his kindness, his thoughtfulness, his courage too, even if she still thinks he has out-of-date ideas.
This shared vulnerability breaks down those initial walls.
Totally. And even Yola, who could be quite judgmental.
Like about the Slovak women's underwear.
Yeah, her comments on their hefty buttocks and thong design. But then you see her fierce dedication to her son, Mirek.
It adds depth. People are always more complicated than first impressions.
Always. These struggles reveal those hidden layers.
So running through all this is the pursuit of dreams, the desire for freedom. But it's a costly journey. Andriy's dream is focused on Sheffield, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. He has this incredibly idealized vision of Sheffield. It's his personal promised land.
What does he imagine it's like?
He pictures it entirely built of white stone with magnificent domes and towers, shimmering like the Lavra Monastery back in Ukraine.
Wow, quite the image.
And he even thinks it's ruled by this wise, blind leader he calls Vlunki.
Who turns out to be?
David Blanket, the British politician.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite touching, this fantasy he's built up. He even went looking for a childhood crush there, Vagvaga Riskid gift. Found out she was married with kids. reality bites.
It shows how powerful those dreams of escape can be, even if they're not quite based in reality.
Desperation fuels them, but reality always has a way of intruding.
The story also touches on bigger political themes, like the Orange Revolution in Ukraine, and there are very different takes on it.
Yes, and it's important how the narrative presents both sides without, taking a side itself.
So what are the contrasting views?
Well, and Andrei is pretty cynical. He sees it as just another Vitally-type business promotion, run by mobile phone men, these opportunists using mobile phones, where ordinary people were only extras. For him, nothing really changed.
But Irina feels differently.
Passionately so. She sees it as a genuine fight for freedom from Russia. She believes we, the people, have changed.
So two valid perspectives shaped by experience.
Exactly. Shaped by their own lives, their economic reality. Andrei even asks, what use is freedom without oil and gas? It's a very practical, maybe disillusioned viewpoint versus Irina's idealism. It reflects real divisions.
And alongside these bigger events, we see Irina herself changing, becoming more independent.
Definitely. She starts making choices for herself, taking that restaurant job.
And buying those trousers.
Yeah, the low-cut and tight trousers she knows Andrei would really hate. It's a small act of rebellion, of defining herself.
And she stands up for herself more.
She does. She confronts a customer who puts money down her bra. And later she pushes back against Andrei when he tries to put his arm around her, telling him, don't. She's finding her voice.
There's also this recurring idea of running. It seems central to many characters.
It really is. Both physically and emotionally, Irina is literally running a lot. From Volk, from Boris, from a car accident.
Until she decides she won't run anymore.
Right, when she finds that safety with Andrei. But Andrei is running too, isn't he? Internally.
From his past. The mine accident trauma.
Exactly. It's his constant state of flight trying to escape threats, both outside and inside. Running becomes this metaphor for their whole search for security, for peace.
And then we encounter a completely different group fighting for a different kind of freedom. The Earth Warriors.
Yeah, Rock and his group.
Yeah.
His calling is to be an Earth Warrior, defending ancient British heritage stone circles, trees from corporate greed.
Noble ideals.
Absolutely. But the story contrasts those ideals really sharply with the gritty reality of their camp life.
Like the food.
Described as underpants-colored sludge. Muddy fingernails, gray laundry. It's not glamorous.
It grounds the activism in something very real, very mundane.
It does. It shows that even fighting for big ideals involves, dealing with the muck and the mess of everyday life. What does freedom actually look like day to day?
So as we move towards the end of this journey, the themes really become about sacrifice, love, hope, especially the relationship between Andrei and Irina.
It unfolds so naturally, doesn't it? From that initial irritation.
Yeah, miner versus cultured girl.
To this really deep bond forged by everything they go through together. That moment of intimacy during the storm.
The description is so vivid, rubbery and pink and smelt of strawberries.
It's raw, sensory. Their connection isn't built on grand gestures, but on these quiet moments, the shared struggles, the playful arguments, the mutual support, like him eating the dog's food for her or her giving him tips.
It feels very real. Found intimacy in the unlikeliest place.
Exactly. And then comes this incredibly powerful moment of sacrifice with Dog.
Ah, Dog. Tell us about that. It sounds heartbreaking.
It is. Dog is described as an angel of vengeance. He attacks Volk, saving Andriy and Irina, but gets shot in the process.
Oh, no.
The description of his eyes at the moment of death, deep, velvety brown, and unfathomable. It's just profound.
That sacrifice must have cemented their bond even further.
Absolutely. It's this ultimate act of loyalty and protection that becomes part of their shared history, foundational.
And finally, they reach Sheffield.
Yeah.
Andrei's dream city. But it's not quite what he imagined.
No, it turns out to be very ordinary. Not the shimmering white city of his dreams.
A bit anticlimactic.
Maybe, but maybe its very ordinariness is what makes it a sanctuary for them, a place they can finally just be.
And there's some resolution there.
Yeah, Irina reconciles with her mother, which is huge. And she makes that clear choice to stay with Andrei. Tells him, don't be sad, you have me now.
She even rewrites her own story a bit.
She does. She imagines a new love story set against the Orange Revolution, with a hero quite like Andrei, but pointedly, definitely not a coal miner. It shows her acceptance, but also her own perspective.
And that final image splashing in the fountains.
Yeah, it's lovely. Playful, arguing, but affectionately. It embodies this resilient, deep love they found against all odds. It's a really hopeful ending after such a rough journey.
So, reflecting on all this, What really stands out is just the sheer resilience, isn't it? Facing exploitation, chaos, yet finding connection.
It's incredible, the human spirit's ability to endure, and not just endure, but find hope, find love.
Right. This deep dive really shows how dreams change, how they have to adapt to reality.
Definitely. And how home isn't just a place on a map. It's about people, about those bonds you form, sometimes in the most unexpected ways.
Even when everything seems stripped away, that desire for dignity, for connection, it persists.
It really does. It might even get stronger.
It certainly challenges our assumptions about life on the margins. Reality is always messier, more complex, more surprising than we think.
And it shows that strength, real community, real love, can blossom in the toughest environments. Maybe true freedom is found there, in those connections.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it?
What hidden treasures might you find in unexpected places, and what sacrifices, big or small, are truly worth making for authentic connection and genuine freedom?